So now I listen to her post games, and yeah, she's become the villain. I don't think she wants to be the villain, but she's become the protagonist, the opposite. She's the
instigator.
She's the instigator.
100%.
Her post games reek a little bit of jealousy and bitterness. That's how.
2 minutes. That's all it took for the entire basketball world to flip on Angel Reese. And this time, there was no defending it, no spinning it, no out-of-context excuse that could save her. What started as a heated moment on the court instantly exploded into something much bigger, much uglier, and far more damaging than anyone expected. Cameras caught everything. The crowd saw it. Players reacted in real time. And social media? It went nuclear. The foul itself wasn't just hard. It felt personal. 1 second, Caitlin Clark was driving, focused, locked in. The next, she was on the floor as gasps echoed through the arena. Referees blew the whistle, but the damage was already done. Because before officials could even huddle, before commentators could finish their sentence, the narrative was already forming in the minds of millions watching live. This crossed a line. What made this moment different was timing. Angel Reese was already under the microscope. Every move, every expression, every rivalry moment had been dissected all season long. So when this foul happened, on Caitlin Clark of all people, it didn't land in a vacuum. It landed on top of months of tension, debates, and built-up resentment that fans were waiting to release. Within seconds, former players were reacting. Analysts stopped mid-broadcast to rewatch the clip. The crowd's energy shifted from excitement to shock. And online, the reaction was ruthless. Dirty. Unnecessary. Suspension-worthy. Those words weren't coming from trolls, they were coming from respected voices across the basketball world. Angel Reese didn't even have time to explain herself. The replay loops told a story over and over, and each time it looked worse. Caitlin Clark's reaction, the body language, the silence, all of it added fuel to a fire that was already out of control. This wasn't just about a foul anymore. It became a referendum on Angel Reese herself. And the scariest part? Once public opinion turns like this, it rarely comes back quietly. Careers aren't ended by one play. They are ended when that play becomes a symbol. Right now, many are asking the same question in disbelief. Did Angel Reese just permanently damage her image on live TV in under 2 minutes? Because after what happened next, there was no walking it back. The aftermath didn't wait for halftime, a press conference, or even the next possession. It hit instantly. As officials reviewed the play, the camera cut to the bench, and that's when the real story began to unfold. Angel Reese's expression said everything and nothing at the same time. Frustration, defiance, disbelief. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was helped up, calm but visibly shaken, doing what she's always done under pressure, staying composed. That contrast became the image replayed everywhere. Not the foul itself, but the difference in response. Fans didn't just analyze the contact. They analyzed body language, reactions, and what they believed those reactions revealed about character. Commentators tried to slow things down, reminding viewers that basketball is physical, that rivalries are intense, that emotions run high. But their words were drowning in the noise. Social media clips spread faster than any broadcast explanation ever could. The foul was clipped, zoomed, slowed down, and reposted thousands of times within minutes. Each repost came with a harsher caption than the last. What might have once been debated in sports bars was now being judged by millions in real time, with no room for nuance. Former players began weighing in, and that's when the tone shifted from heated to brutal. Some defended the intensity of the game, but many didn't. They talked about control, about awareness, about knowing the moment and the opponent. When respected voices say things like "that's not basketball" or "you can't do that on that stage," it changes how the moment is remembered. It stops being a controversial play and starts becoming a cautionary tale. The kind that follows an athlete long after the final buzzer. What made it even more damaging was the opponent. Caitlin Clark isn't just another star, she's the face of the modern women's game to many fans. Fair or not, that matters. Any hard foul on her is magnified tenfold, and Angel Reese knew that before the game even started. That reality created a perception problem that no post-game explanation could easily fix. To fans, it didn't look like a basketball decision. It looked like frustration boiling over in the worst possible moment. By the end of the quarter, the conversation had fully escaped the game itself. Broadcasters were careful with their words, but the subtext was clear. This moment would outlive the final score. Angel Reese wasn't just being judged on one play, She was being judged on a storyline people had already decided to believe. And once a player becomes the center of a narrative like that, every future move is seen through that lens. The foul wasn't the end of the discussion. It was the beginning of a much bigger storm that was already forming. As the storm grew, the intensity of the backlash against Angel Reese only escalated. Social media, already ablaze with clips of the foul, became a battleground of opinion. Fans dissected every angle, slowed down replays frame by frame, and debated whether the contact was intentional, reckless, or a natural part of a high-stakes game. Each replay seemed to tell a different story, and yet the dominant narrative quickly formed. Angel Reese had crossed a line that could not be ignored. Even those who supported her skills or competitive drive were forced to acknowledge the optics of the moment, the timing, the intensity, and the target of her aggression. Analysts and former players weighed in publicly, adding fuel to the fire. Pundits highlighted everything from technique to emotional control, pointing out that in high-profile matchups, a single moment could define a player's reputation for years. They stressed the importance of awareness, composure, and reading the opponent, all skills Angel Reese is typically praised for. By breaking that standard in a single instant, whether intentionally or not, she became the subject of scrutiny far beyond the basketball court. Even casual viewers who might not follow women's basketball closely suddenly had a strong opinion, amplifying the controversy. Inside the locker room, sources suggest that teammates and coaching staff were scrambling to manage both the immediate fallout and the looming media storm. Post-game interviews had to be carefully scripted, responses measured, and potential consequences anticipated. What makes this situation so volatile is that the repercussions extend far beyond that single game. Sponsorships, media appearances, and public perception are all on the line. In the world of modern sports, one moment, one play, can eclipse months or years of consistent excellence. The psychological effect on Angel Reese herself cannot be overstated. Competing at the highest level already comes with immense pressure, but being vilified on live TV and across social media adds a new dimension. Athletes often speak of mental fatigue after games, but in cases like this, fatigue is compounded by public judgment, criticism, and the fear of being defined by a single action. Sources close to her indicate that she immediately realized the severity of the situation, the weight of the backlash, and how it might follow her throughout the season. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's response only heightened the drama. By remaining composed, she inadvertently created a stark contrast to Angel Reese's more aggressive style. That juxtaposition fueled commentary, as analysts and fans debated not only the play itself but the broader implications of emotional control, sportsmanship, and competitive ethics. Angel Reese, usually celebrated for her dominance and confidence, now found herself navigating a narrative shaped as much by perception as by reality. The fallout was no longer contained within the arena. Clips were being shared internationally, trending hashtags multiplied, and opinion pieces began surfacing within hours. Every outlet, from mainstream sports media to fan-run pages, amplified the story. The conversation shifted from basketball to character, decision-making, and what it meant for Angel Reese's future in the sport. One foul had become more than just a foul. It had become a defining moment. Next, we'll explore the broader consequences, how this incident impacted her reputation, her relationships with teammates and coaches, and the ways in which it may alter her career trajectory moving forward. As the narrative continued to spread, Angel Reese's actions became a lightning rod for debate across the basketball world. Fans weren't just talking about the foul anymore, they were dissecting her entire persona, her leadership style, and even her approach to competition. On social media platforms, threads exploded with opinions, memes, and heated arguments. Some argued that in high-level competition, aggression is expected and sometimes necessary. Others contended that this crossed a line, painting Reese as reckless or disrespectful. In the modern era of live streaming and viral clips, there is no pause button. Every viewer is an instant commentator, and every opinion contributes to the pressure surrounding a player. Former professional players and analysts continued to weigh in, breaking down the sequence of events in meticulous detail. They discussed foot placement, body control, timing, and situational awareness, scrutinizing Reese's every move. Even minor nuances, like the angle of her arm or how quickly she pulled back, were analyzed as evidence of intent or negligence. This microscopic examination left little room for interpretation. In the court of public opinion, the act itself became inseparable from her character. For someone with her high-profile reputation, that level of scrutiny is almost impossible to navigate without consequences. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, her coaching staff faced a delicate balancing act. They had to address the incident with the media, reassure fans and sponsors, and maintain team cohesion without publicly undermining or condemning one of their star players. Sources familiar with elite-level programs say that situations like this can strain relationships in the locker room, especially when other players feel that a teammate's actions bring unnecessary attention or risk. Maintaining trust, morale, and focus becomes increasingly challenging when public perception is weighing heavily on the team's image. The psychological burden on Reese intensified as the hours passed. Athletes often speak about the mental preparation required for high-pressure games, but navigating a viral controversy adds an entirely new layer of stress. Every public appearance, interview, or social media post can be dissected for tone, intent, or sincerity. Even private conversations risk being leaked or misinterpreted. For someone accustomed to performing under pressure, this type of scrutiny is uniquely taxing. It's not just physical or tactical. It's emotional and strategic simultaneously. Caitlin Clark's calm, composed response continued to fuel comparisons. Analysts repeatedly highlighted the contrast between the two players, framing Clark as poised and strategic while Reese was cast in a more aggressive, impulsive light. That perception, whether fair or not, shaped ongoing discussions about sportsmanship, player maturity, and leadership on the court. The debate spilled beyond fans and analysts into larger cultural discussions, touching on gender dynamics, athlete branding, and media narratives in modern sports. By the end of the day, what began as a single hard foul had evolved into a defining moment for Angel Reese. The incident wasn't just replayed on sports channels, it was dissected in think pieces, tweeted about by celebrities, and discussed in households across the country. It became a reference point, a cautionary tale, and a critical moment in Reese's career. And while the game continued, the shadow of that single play would linger, influencing both perception and opportunity in ways that no one could yet fully measure. As the days following the incident unfolded, the ripple effects of that single hard foul on Caitlin Clark became impossible to ignore. Angel Reese suddenly found herself navigating a complex maze of public scrutiny, media coverage, and fan backlash, all while trying to maintain focus on the game itself. The viral clip had taken on a life of its own, being replayed across platforms, dissected in analysis videos, and shared in highlight reels with commentary ranging from harsh criticism to defensive support. No matter where Reese turned, the incident followed her, shaping conversations both inside and outside the basketball community. Sponsors and endorsement partners began to take notice. While some remained silent, waiting to see how the story developed, others expressed concern about the optics of associating with a player whose actions were being publicly questioned. In modern sports, public perception can impact financial opportunities as much as athletic performance, and Reese now faced the delicate task of managing both her on-court performance and off-court image simultaneously. Her team worked quickly to craft messaging, ensure professionalism in interviews, and highlight her accomplishments outside of this moment, but the intensity of the viral reaction made it difficult to fully control the narrative. Within the team itself, tensions reportedly simmered. Coaches emphasized focus and discipline, but teammates couldn't help noticing the media storm that followed Reese everywhere. While most continued to support her privately, the persistent scrutiny made every practice, every interaction, and every social media post feel like a potential trigger. High-level athletes are conditioned to perform under pressure, but when public opinion and social media algorithms amplify every misstep, the pressure becomes constant rather than situational. Reese's mental resilience was being tested in a way that went far beyond the court. Public perception also began to influence how fans engaged with her. Some longtime supporters rallied, defending her competitiveness and leadership qualities. Others, however, were unforgiving, framing the foul as evidence of poor sportsmanship or lack of control. The polarized response created an emotional environment in which Reese had to reconcile her personal competitive instincts with the broader expectations of fans, media, and sponsors. That constant tension, balancing aggression with image management, became one of the most challenging aspects of the fallout. At the same time, Caitlin Clark's composed handling of the situation continued to dominate conversation. Analysts frequently compared the two players, praising Clark's restraint while critiquing Reese's decision-making. That contrast intensified discussions about leadership, sportsmanship, and emotional control at the elite level. For Reese, every play, every gesture, and every comment became part of a larger narrative she could no longer fully control. As the weeks progressed, the incident evolved from a momentary highlight into a defining event with lasting consequences. Angel Reese's competitive spirit had created a spectacle, but it had also exposed her to criticism, financial scrutiny, and public debate. The consequences of a single play demonstrated just how closely athlete behavior is monitored in the modern sports landscape, and how quickly perception can shape opportunity, reputation, and legacy. By the time the full impact of the incident settled in, Angel Reese was facing more than just criticism over a single play. She was confronting the reality of how a viral moment could influence her entire career. The foul against Caitlin Clark had transcended the boundaries of the court, sparking conversations about leadership, sportsmanship, and the pressures elite athletes face in the public eye. Analysts, fans, and former players continued to revisit the clip, each replay reinforcing the narrative that Reese's actions were reckless, whether intentionally or not. In the digital age, moments like these don't fade. They echo. The intensity of the backlash prompted Reese and her team to adopt a more strategic approach. Public statements were carefully crafted, interviews focused on accountability and growth, and social media activity became more deliberate. Sources close to Reese indicate that she spent considerable time reflecting on the incident, analyzing what went wrong and how she could prevent similar situations in the future. It wasn't just about defending her reputation, it was about regaining control over a narrative that had spun out of her hands almost immediately. Despite the criticism, many supporters stepped forward, reminding the public of Reese's talent, achievements, and leadership on and off the court. They emphasized that a single moment should not define a player's entire career, especially one as skilled and competitive as Reese. This support provided some balance, but it also highlighted the fragile nature of public perception. A single controversial play can overshadow years of excellence, even when context matters. On the court, the incident began influencing how Reese approached her gameplay. Sources suggest she became more cautious in high-pressure moments, consciously weighing the physicality of her actions against the potential media scrutiny. This adjustment, while necessary, came with its own challenges. Reese had built her reputation on aggression, fearlessness, and intensity. Dialing that back, even strategically, risked diminishing the very traits that made her successful. Balancing competitiveness with public accountability became an ongoing exercise in precision. Off the court, the incident opened broader conversations about athlete scrutiny in the modern sports era. Coaches, commentators, and fans debated the responsibilities of young stars in high-visibility positions. Social media's role in shaping perception was undeniable, as clips circulated worldwide within minutes, leaving little room for nuance or context. For Reese, navigating this environment required not only mental resilience but also a keen understanding of media, messaging, and public engagement. Ultimately, the aftermath of this hard foul has become a defining chapter in Angel Reese's career. How she responds, through leadership, performance, and public engagement, will determine whether this moment is remembered as a temporary setback or a turning point. One thing is clear. In today's world of instant reactions, viral moments, and relentless scrutiny, even elite athletes must be prepared for the lasting consequences of a single, high-profile play. Angel Reese's journey from here will show whether she can transform controversy into growth, or whether this viral incident will forever shape her legacy. If you want to see how Angel Reese bounces back from this viral controversy and reclaims her place on the court, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Hit like if you think she has what it takes to overcome the backlash, and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. Was the foul just part of the game, or did it cross the line? Share this video with friends who follow women's basketball closely, because this story is far from over, and every play from here on out could redefine her legacy. Stay tuned. The next chapter is going to be intense.